Hello guys, today we're gonna take a look at the first episode of season 2 called Married. Now this was another on IMDb it has it as an hour and a half length kind of episode movie, but if you look up on other places I have it divided up into two parts. Kinda like in season 1 how the first two episodes were kinda like that. Well this one's it here. This is a unique well, first let's get into details here. It was released in September 22nd, 1978. It's about an hour 35 minutes long, has 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb with about 400-ish user votes. It guest stars Mariette Hartley, who was in Marnie, or Marnie, Marnie, or something like that. Um, and it's directed by Kenneth Johnson, who also did Bionic Woman. So the unique thing about this episode actually got the only primetime winner award, and that was for the guest star, her work in this episode. Now this episode, so pretty much the premise of this episode is a Hulk, Bruce Banner travels to Hawaii to find, because he heard something about a doctor who might help him. Well, she is going through a lot of medical stuff herself. Very, she has some medical issues herself. So they kind of collaborate and work together in a romance and shirts, and they actually, just like the title of the episode, do marry each other. So this is, so it's first, this is the second time being married. I won't say what happens in this episode. So the thing with this episode is there is a lot more, the episode really delves into David's, I'm sorry, I keep saying Bruce, but David's, psyche, and him trying to contain the Hulk through psychologicalness. And there's a very cool transformation scene in this episode when it's at night. You'll see it. I mean, this episode doesn't stop with the special effects. They use a lot of special effects for this one. This is definitely one of those things, and yeah, they did get, and yeah, there's a reason why she won an award for this one. This is without a doubt one of the most prominent characters in the show outside the main cast, and even though she's only in this episode, she she's pretty much with it the whole way. There's no yeah. I think the only thing with this episode is I feel like if you really wanted to, you probably could have cut it down to a standard episode. And in all honesty, stuff happens, but yet it feels like it does have a lot of chill moments where she's like, oh, we're just hanging out, we're just chatting and talking. I mean, it. The only reason why it's not really more of a nitpick than a criticism is because they kind of get away with it a little bit, because the two leads, David and the lady, they have good enough chemistry to kind of get by all that. And also the ending is, mm, well, considering how this isn't the final episode, I feel like most of you know what have an idea of what might happen at the end, because David still travels around trying to find a cure. So you kind of, that's the only thing. This episode kind of is one of those episodes in the series where he might have it and you don't quite know, but we know because the show goes on for another 3 seasons and 3 TV movies, so we kind of know that everything works out in this episode. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I don't want to give away spoilers, of course, but this is kind of a big episode. Is it the best big episode? It's one of them, but I think the only reason why I wouldn't put it up there is mainly because it's arguable that there's a little bit of padding. Not enough. I think you could say it could have been condensed to a standard episode, but I don't know if it could have. I don't know if there's enough to cut to make it still work. That's the thing. It was kind of written in that kind of way, even though there are certain segments I'm like, okay, yeah, but yeah, I I definitely was with the episode. I was invested pretty well. So this is a good one. So far out of the three, like this, The pilot, Death in the Family, this one, which I would say this. I don't know if this one's the best of the three. I don't know if any of them are necessarily better than the other. I mean, it's definitely a question for another time. But this is good. It's a good opening to season two. It opens up with a big episode, ambitious, the what ifs, and really a good look into the Hulk and David and their relationship and their psyches tied together and all that stuff. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. It's a pretty solid opening for season two. It's a good episode to open up, and we got a lot more episodes in season two than season one, so there's going to be a lot more to cover for this season. So yeah, I definitely a watch because they go back to this episode a ton in the future episodes. They do that quite a bit. So this is something you kind of have to see. This is definitely a necessary viewing for this episode. At least the first time around. And then of course after you binge watch at least once, you can decide for yourself if you want to go back to episodes or not. But yeah, guys, it's a good episode. I definitely recommend it. And yeah, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the videos, and have a good day.